What's up guys, it's Captain Production 72 and welcome to the 15th installment of collecting the complete saga in LEGO. If you're unfamiliar, this is my series where I'm collecting all of the playable characters from the complete saga in LEGO. This series features many real minifigures such as Boba Fett from 2000, as well as many custom minifigures such as Boss Nass over there. And in this episode, we're adding two custom minifigures, both from, two from different custom manufacturers. And this episode is Empire Strikes Back themed. And one of these minifigures I recently just got in, and it's one of those crazy things I've been talking about in previous episodes. There's figures you think you're not going to find anyone making. Like, for example, one of the ones for me is I didn't think I'd find someone making the Death Star Trooper of all minifigures. But I found it. But ones like, for example, the Queen Padme Amidala is a good example who would go up there. I can't find anyone making one of those. There has been people who have made them, but it's trying to find them and they're worth quite a bit. So I want to wait for someone else to make one. But anyway, let's get into these two pretty cool minifigures. I do have, and this is one of those cooler episodes, I do have the official minifigures to compare them to. So let's get into these two. I'm pretty excited. One thing I'd like to point out before we get into these, the table is not dirty. This was brought up to me. The table is kind of ruined from like hard use. So like the lacquer peel and stuff on the wood. Anyway. So, the two that we've got here are pretty cool, right? Both of these are not, you don't play as them in levels. You play one of them in the Bounty Hunter levels, but these are ones you buy in the Cantina. But anyway, first off, we have Forlom, made by Boskman Customs, and this minifigure is one of my favorites. All but dust there on the blaster, I've just noticed, but look at that. That is an amazingly done minifigure. This is a minifigure by Boskman Customs. You can check him out on Instagram. Again, Boskman Customs makes some brilliant stuff, and this is one of my favorite ones. Look at the detail. I like how it's got the classic Lego big blaster, which is game accurate, but this thing just looks amazing. Absolutely love it. Some of his best work right there. And I do have the official one, which Lego, as a figure I always forget, Lego made and did it twice. One, it was in the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack from 2017. Which is where he originated. Wow, was that nearly 10 years ago? And he was also in the 2019 Boba Fett Slave 1. This is the official version of Forlom that we did eventually get. Keep in mind, the one, the customs based off, came out in the mid-2000s. Or, sorry, that render was designed in the mid-2000s. So that has a really nice contrast. Also, they're completely different. But you can see that they're both going based off the same source material. Yes, of course, the Lego one's a lot more accurate to how Forlom looks, but gotta say, that Complete Saga custom looks absolutely brilliant. We're going to take him away, and we're going to go get the other minifigure, which is made by... This next minifigure is made by Brick Rebellion. So, check this minifigure. It looks absolutely amazing. This is his Ugnaught, and I waited quite a while. I actually pre-ordered this back in August, and it recently just came at the time of recording this. This minifigure is top notch. Absolutely love it. The Ugnaught is again one of those characters I forget you can play as in the Complete Saga. Forlom I do remember because you have to do those Bounty Hunter missions that are timed. But this is something else. I really do like these. And look at that printing. It's so well done. I could not be more happy with this. And of course, I will get the official version. So Lego did do one in 2016. Done a couple versions, but this is the one that I have sitting around, and you can instantly see there is a major difference. Now, of course, you can make the argument Lego's ones are more accurate. Why wouldn't you go for Lego? That's true, but if I was doing the Skywalker saga, which is something I don't ever plan on doing all the figures for, it will be useful there. But you can see the contrast. There's a lot of similarities, kind of like there was with the, and I'll bring the other two Forloms back in. You can see the contrast between, moving forward, official Lego and custom. Now, granted, they're always trying to achieve something different, right? As we were talking about in other episodes. Lego's going for complete accuracy, but, like Lego back then, those digital renders just had to look like the characters. And, for the game. But, I really do like how these look. Let's get our two new minifigures on the stand. Alright, so you joined me over at the stand to add these two. So first up, we're going to add Forlom. Now, Forlom, he goes... No. Forlom goes there. I don't know what... The Force goes there. But Forlorn has been added. A pretty cool looking minifigure. Looks really cool next to Dengar. And next we're going to add the Ugnaught. So the Ugnaught actually goes over here next to the Bespin Guard from 2006. So it's pretty cool adding those. Those are minifigures I really do like. That Ugnaught is cool. I don't know, I can't decide which one I like more. Forlorn or the Ugnaught. That's a hard one. But anyway, I'm going to see you in the next episode, which is Return of the Jedi themed. In fact, the next two are. So see you there.